Welcome to
Coco Caliente,
a mother-daughter production.
where we talk about everything and nothing all at the same time.
Yes, and it is Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
We are recording this morning, and we have a lot to talk about today, right?
Yes,
Lots
yes.
of different categories. We wrote them down, and there's quite a few things that happened. Is that just all in a week?
It just seems like it. And Tuesday, so it'll be Tuesday morning, which I'll put that on the page today because tomorrow will be like Monday. Everybody's gonna feel like they're messed up all week. The week's gonna fly by, and it's gonna be the weekend before we know it, which is a good thing, right?
Which it's it's almost June, so that's crazy that it's already almost June.
When is June? Wednesday morning,
June 1st, yeah. Or is it
Summer's gonna
Tuesday?
fly
Yeah,
by.
Wednesday.
It's beautiful, kind of hot, but beautiful weather. So it actually feels like summer. And hope everybody had a really good weekend and got to catch a Memorial Day parade. And
Yeah, for sure. We did. Which, if you saw my Instagram, Arrow was in his first parade. It was pretty cool. He got to ride with, we actually all rode in it because it was easier. But me, Victor, Arrow, my mom, and dad rode in a 1975 Dodge Plymouth old state trooper car. It's actually really cool looking. I love like the 70s era. And it was so cute because so many people, like men that were veterans, stopped us and said, "Hey, I remember being in the back seat of that car," just like something goofy like that. Or, "Hey, I've been pulled over by something like that." So it just seemed like they all like kind of brought back like
and they would
funny
holler a
memories
lot of
for
nice,
them.
nice car, yeah.
Like, I guess I just never would have realized it. I think it's really cool looking, but there's just so many people that were so fascinated by it.
And Arrow was actually, me and Nicole sat in the back seat, and Arrow and Dave and Victor sat in the back, and Arrow was
Dave sat in the front.
Front, and Grandpa was helping Arrow wave to all the people. The only thing that was really, really sad was the candy situation.
Yeah. Okay, so I woke up that morning. We had to be there at like 9:30. The parade started at 11. And then I was like, "Vic, like, we need candy, right?" So then I called my parents, and they're like, "Well, let's go up there and let's see what they say. Make sure that you can throw candy." Because I don't know the rules. I just remember being a kid and wanting candy in a parade. And so then I asked, like, the woman who was, like, lining everybody up. And because we still had an hour. Because we could have went and grabbed candy. My parents drove separate in a different vehicle. So I was like, "Okay, can we throw candy?" And she's like, "You can't throw it, but you can hand it out." And at that time, it was just going to be me, Victor, and Arrow in the car. So I couldn't get out of the car while we're moving, right? So I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I don't think I can handle that." But then with my mom and dad in the car, me and my dad could have handed out candy next to the car. But you should have seen there was no candy up to the point we were in the parade, which we were kind of towards the beginning. But there was still quite a few things before us, but the kids had empty bags. It was really sad.
You could tell, everybody had little bags and they were waiting for the candy. And then I did see the video later, and I did see a couple floats through the candy out. And actually the way it was, because we could have made it far enough where the candy wasn't on the road easily.
But I don't think.
But now we know for next year.
But I still don't.
Or whenever.
Yeah, I guess I don't know the what's behind. Like, you can't throw it. I just thought, kids running in the street, they might not have liked that because of accidents and stuff. But we're going really, really slow, and I think we could have definitely made it to the edge.
And we'll make sure we're doing the Ubley, a different float. Like my husband is put in his tractors, and it's our Ubley theme is Marvel this year. So we're gonna make a float, and that's going to
come up quick, just so you know.
I know.
I don't know if you're going to get around to that.
We will get it done. And we will definitely be able to pass things out because we'll have walkers if we need to, or if they're throwing them in Ubley. I don't know what the rules are here. I swear they throw them in Ubley, don't they? Yeah. Seems like they do. But we'll make sure we have candy, because that was like, I felt so guilty. It's like we're all like, "Oh gosh, this is sad. We need some candy."
I know. I was like, I'm kind of like, I feel like bad. And I kind of another thing is I do now remember, though, in some big parades when people are throwing candy, that there is candy that ends up in the middle of the street and kids go after it. But this didn't feel like that one would have been. I don't know how that even ends up in the middle of the street. You must have a bad tosser.
or it just falls out if you're taking handfuls or whatever.
Right. But yeah, so anyways, it was a cool experience for Arrow being in his first parade, and Victor's like, could be a once in a lifetime thing. Like, that car is not from this area. They brought it up specific for that, and then Victor got asked to drive it, which is really cool. So, that was a good family experience, and yep.
Yeah, it was
and it was just very small town. Like, it was in Bad Axe, so it's like the town, not Ubley, but the next one.
Yeah.
I guess I count that as like the town over, right? Do you kind of count that as a town over?
Yes. Yeah, where we grocery shop and everything else, and are at a lot. And Arrow's just getting to the age where he's so fun. Like, everything, his eyes are on everything. He is always just seeing what's going on, and every new experience with him. Like, he just remembers a lot, and he's just fun. Like, last week, Nicole had a massage appointment, or whatever that.
Yeah, I'll get into that.
She had an appointment anyway, so I came over to watch Arrow, and Victor was going to do his stuff, and he's like, come on, I got some stuff to return, bottles to return in Bad Axe. Let's go to breakfast, me, you, and Arrow. We'll just go to breakfast and go to Walmart. And so we went to Walmart, and I was just going to wait in the car while he did his stuff. He's like, no, come in. Arrow likes to people watch. So I put him on one of the big, washed it off good, but put him on one of the 2-seater Walmart grocery things. And some things are a little bit hard to push because they're pretty big. And I just had to grab a few things, but he just had so much fun. He just thought he was such a big boy, and it was just cute.
And then when on my way home, I was like, you guys are in Bad Axe out to breakfast now? It was just cute. I liked that they went out to breakfast together, and Mom's like, yep, Victor said, like, let's go. So I said, all right, we'll go.
And I came over here, and I'm like, I already spilled coffee on my shirt. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, came over to watch the baby. I didn't, because, if we're not going anywhere, a lot of the times I basically get dressed and brush my teeth and brush my hair and come over. I don't get no makeup or make sure I have decent clothes on, because I get dirty the whole time I'm here anyways, between feeding them, and we let them like experiment with stuff. So my clothes are always messy here.
And you said it was really good. Your trip was really good.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a good trip, except for looking a little messy, but it was fine.
Okay, so talking about, someone asked me, they messaged me and asked me to talk about this, like, energy thing that I did. So it's called Reiki, I think it's how you pronounce it. And my masseuse does that. And so this was the first time I explored that avenue. So basically, I'm going to read you what Reiki is, because I did not know what it was, but I think it's also called a chakra, like getting the energies balanced. Oh my gosh, my phone is so full. I took a screenshot of what I wanted to read, and it's gone. I just had to order a new phone. So I broke my phone. No, I woke up and my phone was broken because I think I used too much storage on it, and then I got a new one like 2 days later, and now this one is not working. So I just ordered a brand new one off Apple. And we had the insurance through like AT&T. This is a total sidebar. But I just don't think it's a good idea, because they give you a refurbished phone. And so this phone... And
it still costs $250.
$250. But I added how much, because we pay we pay $40 a month for insurance, but it's like $8 a person. So this phone still cost me over $500. And it's already, I screenshotted it, and it's not working. And I can't even turn it on airplane mode while we're podcasting, because it just won't, I don't know what the heck's going on. But that happened last time. Remember when I used the insurance policy with my phone, and then the second one didn't work? And then they sent me another one.
We should send that back then. As soon as you get your other one, I'm going to send that back.
It's just frustrating, because that's like my job. And then that all happened with the wedding stuff. This episode is brought to you by Gladskin. Be honest with me for a second. If I were to ask you how many products are in your drawer at home, what would you say? If you're like me, you would probably say a ton of different products, barely used, and they're really expensive. So it turns out we've been thinking about skin solutions in the wrong way, and it's time to rethink your skin with Gladskin. What is Gladskin? It's a new category of skin blemish treatment that works differently than any plant-based or drug-based product you've tried before, because Gladskin is based on the nature of healthy skin. It's developed a revolutionary protein called microbalance to restore the natural balance of the good and the bad bacteria that live in the skin. Gladskin Blemish Gel works without harsh ingredients ingredients, and it's so gentle from day one. And it's been helping people in Europe for years, and it's now available in the U.S. And plus, there's a 60-day guarantee. Right now, Gladskin is offering our listeners 15% off plus free shipping on your order at gladskin.com/coco. That's gladskin.com/coco for 15% off plus free shipping. gladskin.com/coco. Okay, so back to, I can't read exactly to you what Reiki is now, but it's like a healing treatment based on basically the universal energies and powers. And it's something that I saw online that it helps with, like it's proven to help with emotional and physical and mental issues from like headaches to anxiety to eczema to insomnia. And, I was just like really excited to kind of like get it done to try something more for my anxiety, because a follower actually messaged me too, and she said you should get like a chakra and your energy. It seems like it's like an energy issue. And so basically I didn't hear her like say anything out loud. I think some people who perform Reiki might like say stuff out loud, but she says it all internally because she's like, the universe is going to hear what I want it to hear. And so basically I just laid there. She also did some massaging too, since she usually does that for me. And it was just an hour total. And she just like, there's like, I think like seven sources of like energy on your body, and like the third eye and your crown and your core and your feet. And so she just kind of like can feel the energy. And she said that for the first time ever with her clients, she felt like all these like balls bouncing. So just like a lot of like kind of chaos going on, but she knows how I am. And she's like, that's just you. Like she wasn't worried or anything, but then she just like stayed at the bottom of my feet until they calmed down. And which is really crazy, because she's like, how did you feel during it? And I said, I felt like I was like melting into the bed in like the best way possible, kind of like paralyzed, like not scary paralyzed, because sometimes, you get sleep paralysis and that's really scary. It wasn't that. It was like, oh my gosh, all this weight just kind of lifted off of me, and I felt so light, and I felt so good. And what's really weird is that happened at the exact same time that she said like that the balls stopped bouncing and we weren't communicating. Like, so that's kind of, it's cool. And so I just felt like at this point, there's nothing, it's only good things can come from it, because I feel like I've tried so many other things, and I like different holistic approaches. And this is like a Japanese, tradition and stuff. So that's all it really was. I think that there's different types. Because some of you were wondering on my Instagram, like what it actually was. And it was just so peaceful. And when I left there, I just felt a lot lighter and a lot, like, I feel like my shoulders are really, really heavy all the time. I don't know. It's like, I literally feel weight on my shoulders because I think of everything I put on myself. And I just felt like taller, lighter. And I don't know if it's like the placebo effect or what, but it's really hard for me to be calm even during massages, because you're laying on the table. I can feel my heart like rate going, and I sometimes am like talking myself out of anxiety while I'm laying there. But I have a really good relationship with my masseuse, and so we talk a lot, and she like calms me and stuff. But I didn't feel any of that during this one. So I'm going to probably get it done again, and I'll let you guys know. And I wish I had the stuff pulled up to read you what it was. But yeah, it's kind of different. It's kind of weird, but I thought it was really cool. And if you know someone near you that does it, it's just literally aligning your energies because they can be unaligned. And I didn't know anything about that.
I don't know if that'd be for me, but it does sound like something that she would enjoy. So that's what she was getting done while we were having breakfast anyways, and having our mother, son-in-law, grandson day.
Yeah. And I felt, it was really good. And then I feel like, okay, so I have a lot of other stories. Is there a story you want to go into? We can go back and forth. Is there anything that you...
No, you can talk first.
Well, do you want to talk about the milk bath story maybe?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So we have, I have Liz come up once a month. I don't know if I've told you guys that, to kind of help me shoot some content ideas and maybe some collaborations with some brands. And this time she usually shoots like arrows 10 month or like his monthly milestones. And she's like, okay, how about like a milk bath for his 10 month? I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. Let's do it. We have a huge tub at our house. I think you could fit like 4 people in there if you wanted to. And I've used it once. My mom used it once and my aunt used it once. Is that it?
Yeah, when she was house sitting, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Yeah.
So that was it. And I had...
And none of us have these big jetted tubs. Mm-hmm. Well, Nicole had one at her other house, and she never used it. Not the entire time they were there. We never even ran it.
In like 3 years. Yeah. That's crazy.
And so we're more shower people. So it's just how...
If I had the time, I would love that. Or if I forced myself to do it. Because when I did it, I loved it. It's just like getting that time, right?
Yeah.
And so... basically, we just started running the water because it's okay. We had a long day. We did hours and hours of photos and stuff.
That was going to be the last thing because, the hair can get messed up, whatever, because it's the very last thing.
It was like 6 p.m. or something like that. And we start running the bath. And what happened? I can't even remember.
Well, I wasn't there when I was doing stuff with Arrow at the first time, but it started turning colors, right?
Yeah, it like started turning dark, and then... I was like...
So she's got all the flowers cut. Liz was cutting all the flowers. We're running the water, like setting everything up, and it started turning dark. So I
was trying to figure out where the dark was coming from because I thought, okay, the tub is hitting one of the jets. I'm like
the brass jet, and she thought maybe rust was coming out of there. We didn't know what was going on.
And with Arrow sensitive skin, I was just like, okay, let's clean this up and run it again.
So we cleaned it all up and did it again. And then it was good for a little bit, and then it happened. Then I ended up calling the previous owner just to be like, hey, is there, something that you do, right? Because we weren't adding any bubbles to it. That's the thing. We had no jets, no.
We weren't adding any bubbles to it, so we could see like the color of the water. So the time that I took a bath in there, I'm like, I don't think it did this. But I guess I added bubbles right away, so I wouldn't have seen that the color of the water was a little bit like dark. And then she's like, no, just run the jets for a while. Like, you just everything's been sitting. I'm like, well, that makes sense. It's been like 6 months. So then we ran the jets and we did it a couple times. And then it still kind of kept happening. And then we emptied the tub again. And then Mom's like, what if we put tape over the jets? But we're not using the jets. But what if there's something coming in from the jets? So we taped up all the jets. And by time we did that... Oh, and in the meantime, we put so much bubble stuff in there to kind of like wash it out that I had to scoop the bubbles.
We ran the jets with before we taped it up, we ran the jets with the thing like I looked it up online, and you are supposed to clean those and run those. So, I mean, it's definitely was from just sitting because none of their other water. And the water actually looked like it was first coming out clear, so... It didn't look funny or anything. Everything looked really, really good. So, yeah. So then we just decided to tape up everything. But I think by that time we'd already had all the kinks of the color worked out of it at that point. So we're like, okay. But the bubbles took forever. We had to... How did we get them all out of there?
We scooped them, and then we used several towels. It was like, oh my gosh. And then we ran it for the final time. And when we did that, we ran out of hot water.
Yes, it was just so we decided after an hour and a half of messing around with this, we got it all, everything cleaned out through the jets, got everything done. And, we had looked up what to do, and it literally was because it's not being used. Which
is so funny. Using stuff makes stuff deteriorate. It's crazy. It's like you have to use your stuff, and you think I'm not using it. It's fine. It's going to stay good. No maintenance.
You're supposed to at least once a month,
we're
clean it and run
start doing
it.
That
yeah.
now.
So, they had to boil. So
you boiled 15 pots of water
and walk in the that bathroom is the farthest point from the kitchen that you couldn't be. So literally boiling the water, then pouring the milk and the flowers. Oh my gosh.
It was, and the only reason that we even did the boiling, I could have did it if it was just me and just sucked it up, but I was like, I'm not making Arrow get into a cold bath. So yeah, it was hilarious. I was like, this is the funniest behind the scenes of an influencer that you can get, because you cannot make this up. It was roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, but we smiled through it and laughed through it. And Liz, who's the photographer, she's just so... She's like,
she's pretty comfortable here because she's been here so much, and she was just like laughing. We thought that was going to be the easy end to a day, and it was literally like
I was ready to give up, and she was like, okay, let's boil water, and I'm like, okay, cool. So she's not giving up, like, we're good, and I'm like, let's do it. Oh my gosh. And then the pictures turned out really cute, but it's like, it was so funny. I'm like, oh my God, if anyone even knew the time and the stress that went into this, yeah.
Arrow thought it was pretty cool and funny, by the end.
But he wanted to... then he was napping. When we were boiling the water, he, like, decided to nap because it's, like, getting late. And then I feel bad. He did not smile one time. He wasn't, like, crying, but he wasn't smile. He didn't smile.
I think he was intrigued by all the flowers in the bathwater.
He liked it, but he wouldn't. He's so smiley that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even get him to smile.
And he had clothes on in the bath, so that was a little bit weird. I think the whole thing was just like, but yet he was like intrigued by like all the. Mm-hmm. And then after that, got to clean up all the oh my gosh, clean up all the flowers and wash everything again. And then Victor's like, oh, problems with it. The next morning he takes a nice bath. Nothing.
Yeah, if you see in my the text thing on my Instagram where I show you how he sends me pictures, that was him in the bubble bath the next morning. Works fine to me. I'm like, yeah, it would.
Yeah,
like,
we got her all cleaned out now.
Yeah, now it's good. So, but I wanted to share that story with you guys. My mom and I have talked about Truebill before. We love Truebill. We use it to manage all of our finances. Okay, so did you know that free trials renew without your consent? It's a business scam out to get you. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill and take control of your subscriptions. Truebill is a new app that helps identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. And because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. You just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. So it has over 2 million users and helped them save over $100 million. Don't fall for the subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/Coco. Go right now, Truebill.com/COCO, and it'll save you hundreds of dollars a year. Truebill.com/Coco.
And then also what's going on now is crazy, this formula shortage. Like, I cannot believe it. And like, anybody that it isn't affecting, like, between their kids, their grandkids, their nieces, their nephews, like, they might not realize how bad it is, but it's it's like really, really bad. I'm very thankful that Nicole doesn't need any formula, but could you imagine, like, I think and said about it, you're already stressed being a mom during, like, the times right now with, like, the COVID and all the doing the things, but could you imagine having to run around constantly looking for a way to feed your baby? And I have a cousin who has twins. They're going to be 5 months old, 5-month-old girls, and they have she only can pump, what did she say, like 12 ounces?
12 ounces a
day, which obviously isn't going to feed 2 babies. And, and she's trying like crazy. And then her babies are having like,
they have like an allergy to
milk, so they have to...
like the cow's milk stuff. So
she has to have a certain formula. So she had texted me and Nicole and asked us if we could be out on the lookout for that.
Her specific brand. Even if it was off-brand, just like the kind that they need for their bellies,
And she lives in the city, so she's looked everywhere in the city, and it was out. And so I had posted on my Facebook if anybody had seen this, the formula, to let us know. And it's just like everybody was so supportive, and they're like, we're dealing with the same thing with the different, somebody they know that they're looking all over for their kind, and they were trying to be helpful and seeing if, looking for us. We were lucky, me and Nicole, we came across, we got her 10 between the people, we got 10 big cans. So that's only going to last her, what'd she say? She said they drink a lot. It's twins, but we did get that settled. Well,
because she was on the verge of maybe having to use someone's breast milk.
Well, she said she still will have to do that if
she runs out, or if it doesn't work, if this brand doesn't work or something, right?
No, she said the brand will work. It's not. Okay. She thinks it says it's equally the same, but it's just so sad because she's just went back to work and she has her mom staying with her to help watch the twins because the twins, one of them is colicky and she just has like a lot going on.
There's already a lot of stress, like her being a new mom, and going back to work, and then she has twins, and then she's trying the best that she can to produce milk. Like, I told her before having the kids, I was like, Amanda, like, look, if you do not want to breastfeed, like, do not feel like you have to, because it's so hard. Like, I think you should definitely try, but do not put that pressure on yourself, because for me in that moment, like, I had Arrow, 4 months before, and I was like, there was days that I was like, with one baby, this is hard. And so for two, I never wanted her to like really stress herself. So she's doing amazing, even still breastfeeding at this, 2 babies at this point. And so where was I going with that? That I know it's so hard. Oh, it's so hard and so stressful being a new mom and then having 2 babies and then a formula shortage. Like, are you kidding me? And then someone wrote on my mom's post, like, something about,
what did they do before this century, whatever?
Before the 21st century, you basically
like use
your boob or whatever. And I don't think some people understand, like, that moms try and some don't produce milk, or some of their nipples just aren't able to be, used for that without, like, severe pain or a nipple shield and all these things. Like, I didn't understand it's not that easy, right? So like, and being preterm too, like, if you have babies early, you have to wait for your milk to come in. I had to wait 5 days for my milk to come in.
And at that point, sometimes people give up because they think they cannot.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to produce. Yeah, if I would have just started formula, like, I would have never even kept continuing trying to breastfeed. And I understand all the points of, I've had so many breaking points where I thought, okay, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And it's not weak. Like, if you've done it, you understand. If you haven't done it, like, you definitely need to keep your mouth shut. That's what I'm going to say. Because it's hard.
It's just like, that's very insensitive, because she's, she saw that, and I could have deleted the comment, but everybody was immediately like telling that woman, what they thought about that. Like, how can you just like basically say that? Like, some people adopt a baby, some people take other people's babies, and like there is a lot of reasons to need formula, and some people just choose not to breastfeed, which is okay. Like, is 100% okay. I did not breastfeed my children. Yeah. I mean, but and I'm watching Nicole do it is just remarkable. Like, I tried with Nicole in the hospital. I was a lot younger, and I was very uncomfortable with. I had all intentions of breastfeeding. I was very.
You're only like 22, I think, right?
But 21 or 22. But I was very uncomfortable at that point. Like, they were like squeezing my nipples to prep them and stuff, and I was just not comfortable with that. Like, now things just seem different then, and it was just I was in there from a C-section, so I just had a harder time.
Plus you got knocked out for a while because you had such a bad latex reaction or something. So that's also, you're supposed to put them on the boob right away, and so it was like 24 hours until you could even do that.
It was hard, and I tried the whole, like, the few days because back then with C-sections you stayed 3 days or 4. You stayed a long time, and I tried. Because that's when they cut you from like breast to freaking. Yeah, I have the scars all the way down. And so. Well, because I had an emergency C-section. So the thing is like, no one should ever mom shame you. You're the best mom ever. And so the fact that someone would even think about mom shaming someone who's not breastfeeding, I guess and I do breastfeed, and it is really hard. And so, but do I think I'm a better mom than moms that don't? Absolutely not. Not even a tiny slightest bit. So my mom's like, I didn't even tell you about that comment because I know you would have went off on her. Yeah, I just said, don't even read it.
Because I just am defensive for my family.
My cousin had seen it, the one that it was for, and she had commented back on it. She's like, I already feel, what did I tell you she said?
I already feel like mom guilt for not producing enough milk for my twins. But
thank you for like making me feel even better. But then it was at nighttime, and the next morning before Nicole could even look at it, the girl came back on and must have saw all the comments to her, and she deleted everything. And she had went on her own personal page and wrote a big paragraph about
she's sick of seeing people needing formula and stuff. It's hard because as a mom, you do everything to protect your baby, and not having the right food that's like, you go to the store and the shelves are like empty, right? It like that would just, and then how it's so hard because say like, I know my baby needs like 10 of these and they limit you to like only buying a couple. And then it's just like, that would be stressful. Like why I would want to buy 10 because I'm like, I'm going to need these.
Well,
but then you'd want to
be a month ahead of time. And then if somebody else you see needs it, share it. But I mean, you need to be like,
that's another thing though.
Especially if you have 2 babies, you need to be.
Okay, but mom told me something that's really messed up. That people buy it that don't need it and then resell it to make money. For
overpriced. I did see.
That would make me so freaking mad.
I haven't seen anybody personally do that. I have read a thing about
I could see people doing it,
but I have never.
It's like a side job. Like, oh, you want formula? You want to feed? Okay,
well, so you can tell because you go on Amazon to buy it, and it's like it will be like
$100 for a little thing.
Sometimes more than that. Like, and they don't have any on stock, but it's like. Yeah. And then somebody I'd read, and this did not work, but somebody had said I suggested it to Amanda, which we didn't need formula, so I didn't. Like even try it until Amanda told me she was having issues. Oh. But that if you go back onto your Amazon and switch it to Canada, because we're Michigan, we're really close to Canada, that they aren't having the shortage, which I don't know if that's true, Canadian people. If you are having the shortage, let us know. But they said you can just switch to there and you can get it. So I actually did find what she needed on there. But then when I switched it to that, it says we do not deliver to this address. When I put my cousin's address in there because I was going to send
because it would need to be delivered to Canada.
Yeah, so I was like, so that did not work. But I'm wondering if you guys are having the shortages too, or if it's just here. But like I notice a lot of people are being very helpful, especially like the like when after you have a baby, which this was even way back, so they still do it now. You get so many free cans in the mail of things because they want you to like use their brand and stuff. And I see everybody they're not selling it either. They're it's not even for resale. But around here have been very helpful. They went through their cupboards and all the ones that they have not opened, and probably even if they open them and they know somebody very well, you could give it to them. But they are like sharing all of their free cans of formula and. They're like, put in a picture and it'll be immediately people be like, I need that kind. Thank you. I need that kind.
I only found
nice.
2 little ones from way before, but mine ended up getting all the way to Grand Rapids, which is crazy. Because I was thinking someone from around here. And I will say around here, when I went into Meijer, if you're looking for formula around here, they do have like the Gentle Ease pre-made purple. I know the purple can's really popular. They do have those. And there was like 4 bottles or something, and so if you're looking for it,
but that was there. A week ago, so we don't know.
And I don't know. I just expected it to be completely empty, but
you said most of the kinds were empty, right?
Yeah, most of them were. Just like the specialty ones. There were some specialty ones that
the more expensive
really
ones you said
expensive.
Were actually there.
Yeah. So, gosh, there was one more thing I had a thought that I wanted to say about the formula, and now I can't remember because.
And I did see, I don't know if it is, and this was before, as I did see a lot of people are putting around a recipe that you can make, like, your own formula. So, I mean, also let us know if that, like, works, like, how.
But I don't know if, I wouldn't freaking test it. I wouldn't. I'd be scared. But what I want to tell you is that do not water down your formula. I saw that. It causes seizures in your baby. It's not just like an underfed baby. It can cause a lot of damage. So do not water down your formula because I wouldn't even, being a nurse prior, I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't do that because I would be scared. I'm scared of everything. But some people are like, oh, it'll just go further and just like watering down milk. But it's not like that. It's like really bad. I guess it causes, and it just breaks my heart if people get down to that.
Desperate measures.
I would. I
actually saw an
feed
article
someone's baby if that's like I would. I was so weird about it at first, like with my friend and stuff. She was like joking about it, but now I'm like, dude. I would totally let.
Well, she was joking about it, nothing to do with the formula shortage. No, she just said we're both of our boobs. We're both always breastfeeding. How about like
give each other a couple hour break?
Yeah, like, you breastfeed them both, and then it was just like.
Which I know they used to do back in the day because my theory is we sync menstrual cycles as women because, which this might be on the internet, I've never looked it up. I don't know, it just makes sense. But why would we sync menstrual cycles other than to have kids at the same time to help raise each other's kids and help feed each other's kids? We have 2 boobs. Most people have 1 baby. So, yeah, it literally takes a village. So pop one of each on your boob and the other mom can go do what they got to do, gather their food or whatever. And then that's basically what my friend was saying. And being a new mom, I'm just like, no. And now I'm like, yeah, I trust her. I know that she's not putting something in her body. I'm like, I would totally do it. Like if I had a sister, yes, I would say, let's do it.
And she's about the closest thing you have to a sister.
Yeah, so I would be like, let's do it, So I don't think that that's weird. If someone's like, hey, I really need you to feed my baby. And I always said if something happened to me, like, pay, and he wouldn't take a bottle. I mean, now he's getting to the point where they could give sippy cups or straws or something, right? Probably. But that was a fear of mine for sure. And I think it caused a lot of anxiety in me subconsciously. Like if I was gone, who would feed my baby? And I've told my mom, I was like, Mom, you just offer to pay Jessica whatever you got to pay her to like breastfeed my baby. Cause that's what he's used to. But then I don't know if that would be hard with like whatever nipple size or whatever. And I know, but I as a mom, I think about that. And so if someone's baby needed fed, I would feed their freaking baby and no questions asked. And it just breaks my heart that it's like, it's even a question. Like I could cry thinking about it, and it's scary because wasn't there a formula like recall right before this?
Yeah, there.
And then that was causing.
That's why I don't know. Is that what caused? I'm assuming that's what's causing the shortage.
Okay,
is all
yeah. So
they already had the stress of that. Yeah, am I feeding my baby the wrong kind of formula?
Yeah.
And I did see some babies have been hospitalized because they can't get the right formula right now. I saw an article that said 2 babies. I don't even know where it was. It made me sad when I read the headlines, and then I didn't read the article itself. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is way more serious than a recall,
It is. Well.
And yesterday we had a really good day. We had, we planned on actually going, taking the day and going to Port Austin and just hanging out and like sightseeing and go to lunch. And,
like Arrow loves walking around in a stroller. So,
but I think we stayed home and we had a much better day.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Everybody came to my house, and I hadn't still set up. We set our campground up in our yard because we have a huge yard. So we have a cement there. So I actually went in my camper. It's been there a few weeks for the first time, and got things out, got the games out, set the tables and chairs up. We charcoal grilled. The kids at Jesse and Ashley and Nicole and Victor at 2 separate times took the motor scooters uptown for rides. Dave took Arrow on the tractor. We took a few rides uptown on the golf cart. We played cornhole.
We played baseball and softball. That was really fun.
Yeah, and just like all kinds of stuff. The funniest thing though that with Victor, this is a funny story, is because you can tell about how I make him set up all the stuff in the beach thing. Oh my
gosh. She's like, Victor.
I get a million things out for Arrow. I have everything in my house.
She's bought so much stuff on Amazon, you guys, but she's calmed down lately, thank God. But she brings this thing out that we've never used before, and she's like, but set this up for Arrow, Victor. Like this is going to be for shade. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, it's going to be awesome. It's like a tent. It's like a beach tent. If we ever go to the beach, we're going to need this. And so I'll tell you a funny thing about that in a minute. And then Victor's like, all right. So he sets it up. I
said, it's easy. I said, I can tell it to you. He's like, you got the directions out. I said, well, I can help you right here, but I can tell it's really easy.
So he sets it up, and Arrow's in it for maybe 10 minutes out of the whole entire day.
Probably a half hour total.
I don't think so. And so then Victor's like,
when it's time to clean up.
It's time to clean up. And he goes to my dad, Jenny bought this off Amazon. You got to get her to quit buying stuff off Amazon. And then Dave goes, what is it? And Victor goes, she said it's for the beach. Do you know that I've been here for 5 years? We've never gone to the beach once.
And then he's like, and it doesn't fit back in the zip-up container that it came in.
And then then Dad whispers, you guys take that home. And then Victor goes, I ain't taking that home. It's just really funny. So he was a really good sport about it, though.
Yeah, because I was like, and you don't even know this. I asked him to get out I didn't ask him. I suggested. I said, oh dang, I wanted to get out. We bought Arrow at Christmas time. I bought him one of those vehicles you ride in, like the remote control and the ones the parents can control. Well, then at Christmas, he was still so little. I was like, okay, I'm going to save this for his first birthday. Well, his first birthday is not until July 23rd. And now he's actually at the age, since you can strap him in, I think we could put him in it. So it's been in the box in my garage, and I said, oh, dang, I forgot I wanted you, because I know the battery's going to have to be charged and all that stuff. I'm like, I wanted you and Dave to get that. He's like, don't suggest it now. It's already late. We already got enough things out. There was everything out in my yard, was there not?
Oh, my gosh. It was like, but it was, okay, and also the meal was the best meal I've had in such a long time.
It was good.
Just my dad's a great charcoal grill guy. Like, it was so good. And it was so fun. Everything was fun.
We had steak, because we have so much meat in the freezer, and my husband's always like, we cannot keep going out to eat. We need to eat at home. We have so we had steak, we had burgers, we had brats, we had shrimp, we had a lobster tail that
two lobster tails,
and then we had baked potatoes and
potato salad,
homemade mac and cheese,
broccoli salad,
beans, potato salad, and broccoli
chips.
salad, chips. It was a big meal.
It was so good. I was like, man, if I could eat that you know what I thought about last night, Mom, which is just so weird. You know how they ask for a meal before when you're in prison, and then they're going to put you on death row? I know that's dark. I never would be doing that. But I'm saying, I said that, I was like, that would be my meal. Because you always think about, I don't always think about, but I see it. I see people pick like their meals, and I'm like, that would be my meal if I could have one last meal.
A barbecue grill?
But no, but it was just everything that was like, it was so good. The combination, you know?
It was, and like...
But I'm missing the spaghetti salad.
And I don't even know if anybody... I didn't eat. I only filled my plate once. And
Me too, and I couldn't eat anymore, but it was so good. I wanted to do it again, but you know when you're just like, I can't.
Yeah, and I did not eat anything
Jesse
else.
and Ashley went and got ice cream, Mom said, after that.
And at my house. We just had ice cream.
Oh, I thought they went
One
uptown.
of them had a Klondike Reese's, and the other one had one of those mini little cones. So they didn't have too much.
Victor and I went up on what are those things called? Scooters? Just a scooter? It's like a...
moped scooter.
Yeah, you sit on it or whatever. We went up to the Dollar General, and we went and got stuff for dinner. That was pretty cool because... I wore a helmet because everyone said wear a helmet. My mom's like, wear a helmet. I'm like, okay, I'll wear a helmet for you and for Arrow. That's fine. And then Victor's making fun of me. He's like,
because they're laughing because
it's crooked. He said,
and it doesn't even. It's my motorcycle helmet, and it doesn't even match Dave's motorcycle. But I remember when I needed a helmet, I needed it fast, and I bought one. So it's like hilarious because it's black with purple with all these
so ugly
with
you guys.
Butterflies all over it. And Nicole's
purple
like
butterflies.
She goes, I know you. There was only two there, this and a skull, and you didn't want to wear skulls. Butterfly, and I'm like, you're right.
I said the only reason I could ever think that you'd pick this helmet is because the other option was a skull or something, because this is so ugly.
And it is ugly. Like even when I'm on the motorcycle, I'm kind of embarrassed, but I needed a helmet like right after we got the motorcycle.
I mean, on the motorcycle, you can't really see it. You're behind Dad, and you take it off. I was going to wear it in the store, and Victor's like, you're not wearing that in the store. I was like, I don't want to put it back on.
Well, we need to order a helmet. I looked after you said that we need to order a helmet.
Because wearing a helmet, I didn't even really notice I was wearing it, so I want to wear one because you never know, right? So it is.
I told her,
but
it's like, you gotta wear my helmet.
It's like the top helmet, so yeah, you can still feel the breeze in your face and everything. It's not like, I thought it'd be more restricting, but it was fine. Except for I was really sweaty under it.
And it was so funny because they were up there, and then me and Dave took off on the golf cart at the same time, and we went down. I didn't know they were going to be in the other part of town, but then they went in the other part of town. Here's Arrow just staring because he sees
he's trying
them
to figure
going by.
out, is that my mom?
Yeah, he's like, what's
with the weird helmet and sunglasses on this moped.
He's like looking like, what's going on here? I don't know. It was actually a really good day, and then. Jesse was there early, and then he went home and mowed his lawn, and then came back at dinner time, and then Nicole stayed all day. So when what time did you guys leave? Like 8:30?
Yeah.
And he's like, she's leaving already? And she's like, Jesse, I've been here since 11 or noon. What time did you get there?
Yeah, we got there
She
early.
goes, I've been here all day. And I
was so sweaty. Like Arrow, even though Arrow was like falling asleep, Vic gave Arrow a bath. Then I hurried up and rinsed off and showered. I couldn't wash my hair, and then Vic did, because me, Dad, and Vic were playing softball. So we had one person pitching, one person hitting, and one person in the outfield. And I kept ending up in the outfield running. And I used to be the best center fielder, you guys, in high school. And so I am so slow now that I was like, I've never had to chase a ball down and have the ball stop before I got to it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be 30, but also it was in 5 acres. I didn't know which way those ding dongs were going to hit it. They were just hitting it wherever and making me chase it, but it was good exercise for me. It felt really good to be outside. I think that's like the best thing for my anxiety is being outside, unless it's too hot, but that was so fun. And then Jesse got there and he's like, I want to play. And I wish he would have been there when we were playing, because it would have been nice to have 2 people covering the 5 acres.
Yeah, we played weird stuff. And then after them guys left, me, Jesse, Ashley, and Dave played hot potato.
I was like, how do you play hot potato?
He set his phone up outside. We were throwing the balls. But it was actually fun. We did it for a long time. And then we played this other one where you...
Did Dad whip it at people?
Dad did. He's the one that did the first thing, the sneaky thing, because if you didn't catch it, this wasn't before the hot potato. And he'd look at Jesse and he'd throw it sideways at me. Yeah, so he got out more than anybody during that game, because if you had really bad throws, and sometimes, then what else we did? I didn't even tell you this thing. And they said it's too hard to do, but okay. I put the cornhole, we were playing by the cornhole board, so I put it flat on the ground, and you had to have a bounce and have the ball go to the person. Well, so
wait,
Ashley
what? I'm so confused.
Instead of throwing it, had to bounce and hit the board and then go to the person.
What kind of ball?
It was a rubbery ball.
Oh, so you use the
It was from that. It was from the spike ball.
You use the cornhole boards and then a spike ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, so I said you have to get it to each person, and Dave and them are like, you cannot get it to the person to your right because of the way the cornhole board was. So Jesse was to my right, and I did it, and I said, well, yeah, you can. He got it right away. He was like, you can't do that again. Did it again, and then they're all trying, and they could not do it. And not of like 5 times, I only missed it once, not getting to him. They're like, how are you just hitting it right on the corner? I'm like... It was just fun.
Mom's like, it's easy.
It was easy, I thought, but they were all trying it, and they're like, that's not easy, because they're saying it's impossible. So that's why I did it once. Dave's like, I don't know how you're doing that, but
Mom pulls out some weird athleticism things sometimes.
If I can sit on my butt and do it. Well, no, I'm pretty good at cornhole and I stand up, but as long as I don't have to, because of my knee and ankle,
she doesn't got to run
or walk fast to get to something.
She's good at all that stuff. And even you guys,
like throwing darts, I can throw darts. Like anything where it's not a lot of chasing anything, I'm good at.
Well, one time in Florida, this story is called volleyball, I think. Remember?
Oh, that was fun.
Okay, so it was me and Mom versus my dad and my brother. And it was a rainy day, so we went to this arcade place, indoor arcade. And basically you're sitting in this scooter. A go-kart, yeah. And what you do is you have a waffle ball. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah. And
then you have a little waffle ball mitt type thing.
It was a net.
Yeah. And so you pass it to your partner, and there's basketball-ish hoops on each side. And so to score a point, you have to hit the backboard, and it'll say, oh, score. Anyways, me and my mom, you guys, versus my dad and my brother. You would think this would be they would definitely, whatever. We won, and my dad was even being crazy, where he'd run into me because he was getting so mad.
Yeah, he was just bumping us.
Using it like a bumper car, which you're not supposed to do, because I would throw it to Mom. She'd catch it and she'd score, and I'd score, and I'd be like, holy crap. So if Mom had legs that were not in pain and stuff, she's pretty athletic. I still talk about it to this day, and that was 5 years ago, because they couldn't believe it either.
It was so much fun. They were trying to make Dave is so competitive that if he doesn't win something, he has a million excuses about everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so funny because we were I would snatch that, they were passing, and I'd stick my thing in there and I'd snatch it in between their pass. Then whip it to Nicole, and then they were getting mad.
Yeah,
well, Jesse was laughing, but Dave was getting mad. He's like,
Dad got so mad at the end that he just ran right into me as hard as he could, trying to knock the ball. I'm like, Dad, you can't do that. Oh man! So
that was a lot of fun.
That was after my first big brother, because that was only the first time I played, because I remember thinking Okay, I'll just think of it as like a Big Brother challenge, and it felt like that. And you would think like the guys with the muscles would win. They did not.
And Dave's fast, and he is athletic, but
he could only go as fast as his cart would go. We were all on even playing ground. Which, when I think about like competitions and stuff, I think about it a lot when I'm sleeping. Like even from Amazing Race and Big Brother, I just hate how like I watched the Survivor finale because it was on. And my mom was like really big into it. She said it was a great season, so I just caught like the end of it. And when I was looking at that final challenge, I at first thought, if you had big hands, it'd be easier to catch those balls. But then I don't think it was, right? I just think about like size. I just think it's unfair sometimes when like say like girls are smaller than men. I just like it to be.
There was a lot of girls who won individual immunities and stuff. It all depends because there's a lot of competitions on there that are balanced, and I mean girls are smaller so they can fit.
I think Survivor's more even playing field, but when I think back to my Big Brother days, it was not even playing field, and it just like pisses me off. It does. It really does because. I mean, if you were to put me and Victor in a challenge, like that's not fair. Like in day to day, I beat him in 90% of things, which is crazy. But if you put us on like a Big Brother challenge to like hold up something, there's no way my arms can hold that up. And that just like makes me so angry because being a girl, you have to, not even just a girl, I don't want to like say a girl, but being like maybe smaller and less muscle mass and working out isn't your favorite thing to do. You have to have a much better social game. Like, you can't carry the weight of your game in physical
there
competitions.
Are some people on Survivor, though, that never, ever, ever win a challenge either. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they just can't do it.
But then at the end, they don't
puzzles. But what's really nice about Survivor, which is bad and nice, but they have a lot of stuff that's strength, and then it ends with a puzzle. So if you're really bad at puzzles, it's really bad because you can be there 10 minutes before the other person and still not have anything done. So it balances out.
That. But at the end of the day, if you're fighting for $1 million, you don't have competitions wins under your belt, you aren't going to bring home $1 million.
One good thing about Survivor, though, is you can look for those immunity idols and you can have them. Like, so that would have been cool on Big Brother if you can actually look for things.
But that one guy who won the final immunity, he was like littler, right?
Yeah.
Nobody even gave him the time of day, I felt like.
No, they didn't. Because
he wasn't, like, running the game and he wasn't, like, winning all these competitions. It's like, that's like, you still get there, right? So, I don't know. I guess being on, like, both sides of it, you have to appreciate everyone's game, even if they're not just, like, a powerhouse muscle man.
But even if they say, like, they dragged him there because they knew that they could beat him, like, he made himself in that position to let them think that you can drag me because you can be tiny and win everything too. So you can.
That's true.
You made yourself in that position. Like even if you have to act like you don't have a clue about anything, but you just need to be able to speak about it and talk about it later. Like I put myself in this position so that you would think I'm weak and you would take me.
But they have to believe it. They have to be open to believing that too.
But you have to be able to say what you did.
I understand that. I understand. Yeah, like if Victoria on season 16 would have come out and said, dude, she could have just lied and said that she is like this engineer with all this whatever and I just did this and people would be like, holy crap, I'm voting for her, right? Like, but I understand that, but at the same time, sometimes the jury's not open to it at all. They're just like, nope, it's just between these two, or nope, I'm voting for this person. And that's how it was even on Big Brother All-Stars. There was no waiver for me or Enzo to win, even if we made the final two, even if we said all the right things. And that's what's frustrating because we didn't have all those wins under our belt, where Enzo played the best social game I've ever seen. And me just making it to final two would have just been incredible with all the hurdles that I had to jump over.
If you would have made it to final two and cut Cody, you would have won.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. Well, yeah. And it just came down to that one question.
Yeah,
it was one question.
And you were relaxed because you thought you were going to final two no matter what. So you never, ever, if you're in a reality game, you never let your...
I understand
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to future people. You never relax because people are lying. They're playing a game.
Yeah.
They're playing a game. They're not like... That's not your best friend that you went to school with and ate lunch with. You know, they're playing their game because they're trying to win.
But it's still like...
Cody was scared of you. That's all I got to say.
It's sickening because it's still like is sickening to me, which I forgive him and all that. It's just a game, but it's like I was in utter, how stupid am I to be in utter shock though? Thinking back on it, I'm like, why would he take you? But in that moment, I was like, we're like brother and sister.
His mom thought he'd take you. She told me 100%, even she's texting me during it. So it's like, yeah. So she was in utter shock too.
Yeah. So I just think like, how stupid, Nicole, like stupid. You got the first question wrong. And then I could just feel the tone, the tenseness of like, okay. And then I got every single one right. And he didn't miss one question. Like, that's what it came down to. $500,000, question.
But getting that far again, and after
I understand
you won for you, I'm saying that is like you are an amazing player.
I also had people yelling over the wall to like come after me.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole entire time that I wasn't allowed to talk about, and it was in my final two speech, and because I practiced my final two speech a lot, and then the producers called me in and they're like, you can't talk about the wall yellers. It's just going to encourage it for next year. I'm like, that's such a big part of my game because I literally had to play against the wall yellers all season. And now I don't even get credit for that. Like, you're kidding me. And so it was just like getting punched. And then that final, like Cody just like cutting me. I was like, wow, I felt so stupid. But I mean,
yeah, but just that game you played is remarkable. Like, I cannot even believe that you did that and you got there and you did that. Like, that was
I just wish I would have.
And yeah, you did. Everybody, a little bit more. Everybody there literally like knew they had heard your name constantly. Like, and they still like,
since like early, like in the first month and a half, they were yelling Nicole and Cody, and then it was just Nicole lied about voting and da-da-da, and I was like 3 times. I'm like, how many times? I wanted to leave. I went to the DR. I was like, I'm leaving. I can't play against like these people in the house and against like the people out there. That's not even fair. And they'd have
but the wall yellers would not have yelled if you weren't playing a good game. They were mad because I
was fooling people.
Yeah, because you were playing Big Brother. They were mad, so they wanted to screw it up. Like, that's just
I mean, being at home, did you know that there was a bunch of wall yellers?
Yes, everybody knew that there was wall yellers. Everything was shut down a lot because there were wall yellers.
Yeah, yes. And that's what another weird thing about the game was. For the first time in all the 3 seasons that I played, like, they would shut the game down, like shut Big Brother down, because that's the only way we could go outside was like they'd play loud music and we weren't allowed to talk about game at all. But I don't really know, because they would listen on our mics and be like, if you talk game, we're shutting it off and you got to go in the house. So then we just have to act like we're not playing Big Brother. Like, how do you even do that? You know, it's weird. It's real weird. They really effed it up for us. But yeah, I still made it to final 3. I wish I would have made it to final 2, but at the same time, it's fine. It's fine. My life couldn't be better right now. Sometimes I think about being fooled and naive in those games.
But look at everybody else is fooled too. They go out without knowing it. Like, I watched on Survivor. You don't even know how many times this season they were just totally fooled by who they thought were their best friends. Like, that's what they got to do to win. Like, if you have to do it to win, you got to try not to let your personal feelings.
You can't play emotionally, I guess. And
you have to, like, you have to be willing to cut him. And the fact that you're just so honest and you weren't willing to cut Cody, still that you thought about it afterwards.
It's embarrassing. Like, I want to lie right now and say I wouldn't have taken him, like, but I would have. And that's what's really sucky is if he, and it's not that I thought like, oh, he would definitely beat me or anything. I thought it'd be close, but I thought that I had a good chance because I was one of the only 2 previous winners, and look where I am, and look what I did, and I had everything down. So I just thought it'd be a good fight. And then when I literally walked out there, so actually what's really funny is they knew that it was me that was cut, because when Julie was talking to like America, and it was playing in the backyard too, and they're like, Nicole just got Cody, just cut Nicole, and then you could just hear everyone in the jury just like whatever they were saying, and then they're like, Julie's like, Devon, who would you like to see come out? And then she said like, if they're smart, they'd cut Nicole, and she already knew I was cut, right? And then I walk out, and everyone was just so like, hey, I felt like, and then besides a couple people, and then I think like Tyler leaned and was like, who would you have taken? And I said, Cody. I said, what just said Cody? And they were like, oh, they all started laughing, like, oh my God, like, you got so playful, da, da, da. And I'm like, and I was just like thinking, like, see, they weren't even going to give me a chance. They were not going to let me even speak. And that's what makes me so mad to this day, because I was like, wait, you don't think that I could even hold a candle to like Cody's game? And they were just like, and then Ian came up and was like, oh yeah, I was going to vote for Cody no matter what, da da da. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't have a chance. That's what makes me mad. You know, because those final 2 speeches should be something.
Yeah, I don't believe that you wouldn't have had a chance. I honestly don't.
Well, that's just, and I felt so, like, in that moment, I already felt so small and defeated, and for them to, like, I'll never forget, and I said something to Christmas, because, like, Christmas was, like, supporting me, right? And in that moment, you're, like, coming out to the real world for the first time, and to them, and I was, like, for Tyler to say that, though, right when he, like, he lost by like what, 1 vote or something. I just felt like you should have some sympathy in that moment, right? Like it was just such a shutdown. Like, oh my God, you got played. Like, you're stupid.
But you don't even have. But them saying that too. But the thing is, they all got played obviously before you, because they're all out there.
That, yeah.
And a lot of them are like, frick, she made it past me, so that's already a little bit of bitterness already, and like, but that kind of stuff.
It just wasn't the right moment for that. And then when I went and talked to the producers after, they like saw all that go down and stuff, and they were so supportive and so freaking nice, and just like they know what's like,
they know you
jealousy versus like, oh yeah, like you did someone dirty or you didn't, right? So
no, you didn't
it's just so frustrating. Okay, that's like a big rant. We're almost at an hour.
And what else I was going to say is congratulations to Memphis and Christmas.
Yes.
They got married this weekend, and that was a hard part for Nicole because she was supposed to be there.
Yeah, it was, and I have that on my list to talk about. But should we do that next week because it's 58 minutes, or would you want to keep going?
Oh, we can talk about it next week. But
okay, yeah, no, and I will say that Christmas in Memphis, when I came out that night. I didn't go anywhere besides Victor. I went and met Victor, and that's when we must have had Arrow or whatever. But anyways, those two after the show were the only two that like, and Ian, that gave me like a time of day to like talk to them, because everyone was in jury talking. And so I will never forget, like, they were just like, and we all said crap, right? And they were just like so supportive and so nice, and that's why it killed me extra, like, because I couldn't be there for their wedding, and I really wanted to be, and so it'll make me sad, like, talking about it, but I am going to talk about not being able to go, but I am hopefully going to meet up with them sometime soon. But yeah, I just had to share, like, that they were never, like, when I got out, like, when I was vulnerable, they were the only ones that, like, really opened up their arms and were like, it's okay, you know, like, everything's going to be okay. And I just like, get me the fuck out of here. That's what I said. So get me out of here. But okay, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate everything. All the nice reviews. My mom reads them and I read them and she reads them to me and we laugh and we're like, yes, we're awesome. But we do appreciate it. And then if you want to go on to Coco Caliente podcast group and join us on Facebook, that'd be awesome because we have some discussions there and share some photos and all that. So anything else, Mom?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, have a good day, guys.
You too.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing while you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies, and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. And then we cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy podcast on your podcast app.